and we have an application walking down the hallway. This is what it looks like at an LPI level. We're take a left, take a right, and we get to about a neg 80, neg 82 sort of RSSI value. That's our level right there, shows it a neg 78. We run a speed test at this. It doesn't do very well. Get 10 megabits per second down. It goes, yes, we're doing great on up, and then it realizes, wait a second, this is a demo, it's supposed to show bad, so then it drops back down for us. So we're looking at a 10 down, 22 up. So now what we want to do is we want to actually go into our application that runs on a mobile device, and we're going to say we're going to locate this AP. And so we're going to pick which AP we want to geolocate, the one we're standing underneath, because we need to make sure we have those coordinates correct. So you go and you figure out, hey, which AP am I going to actually use as one of my anchor APs? So the next thing you want to do is you want to actually verify that, hey, this is the AP. The AP I think I picked is the AP that I'm actually showing. And so you can blink the LEDs on the AP, and you go, the whole blinky thing, and you go, oh yeah, it's blinking. That's my AP. So now we verified that that's the AP that we need, that we want. We're now going to go ahead and we're going to get the GPS coordinates from our device, our mobile device. We're going to say, hey, this is exactly where we are. So you go ahead and you're like, okay, we're here, we're kind of here. And this takes a little bit of time. It's not a very fast process because it has to be very exact. If not, you have problems. Now, just like any other thing that you would do, after you do this step, the next step is to click on the wrong thing, get back into the geolocations again, confirm that's what it is. That's a fat finger click. Now we want to actually complete that. We're going to tell what floor number we're on. We can do lat and long really easy, do an elevation. Hey, I'm on the 5th floor, I'm on the 6th floor. It's a little bit harder. So manually, you'll enter in the floor that you're on. Hey, I'm on floor 5. At that point, now that we've actually confirmed all the steps, we can confirm it. We apply that, and it's going to start that process we were looking at before, where it's going to send this data and this information back up to the controllers. And we're going to take a look at it, and we're going to say, hey, right now we're transmitting at 12 dBm. So now it's going to start running, and we're going to see the AFC on the CLI on the right-hand side. We're start seeing these communication flows that will go back and forth. And then even on the AFC system GUI itself, we're going to be able to see how this works. It runs through, it checks all the channels, it looks at the coordination, looks at geolocation stuff, lat and long, where are we at, what are we going to infringe upon? And it starts looking and going, okay, what's the best one that we want? Where can we operate? Where can we run? And you can start seeing some of those values actually show up on the CLI. Once we have all that stuff, it's then sent back down to the controller. Send it. Thank you. So once it's sent down to the controller, we can actually take a look at it and go, hey, my transmit power actually went from 12 dBm to 22 dBm. So now when that client starts doing that walk down the hallway, what we're seeing is we make that left, we make that right, and yet we're in a much better RSSI value number. We've now increased that footprint of my cell to cover those coverage gaps from when we did the pop and swap. So low power indoor APs that you'd normally not think about putting on an AFC and running standard power, this now solves that problem of the pop and swap and reducing that footprint of the cell. And so now when we run our speed test, further away from the AP, we've now increased our footprint, and we went from 10 megabits per second down, we've now gone to 23 megabits per second down, and our upload is significantly better. It was 23. And so when we actually compare the LPI on the left to the standard power on the right, you can actually see how much further we got down the hallway before we got into that red zone. And you can see the speed test numbers there on the bottom. What was 10 down is now 23, 22 up is now 65.
Can an LPI client connect to a standard power AP? Is that allowed?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have to do this for every access point, or is this more an automated thing that could occur?
You have to set some anchors and say, hey, this one, and this one. What that number and ratio is, I'm not certain. So get with me later and we'll talk about that.
Okay. You also you entered a floor
yeah.
on the in the app.
Yeah.
is that to define the height above
Yes.
ground? So are you assuming all floors are the same size?
Yeah. Are you?
And what happens if you have floor 0 in different regions?
This is still under development. So again, it's one of those things where one of the reasons why we like to bring this stuff here is to sort of crowdsource our thinking and be like, okay, so it's something that I know is still under development. And right now, AFC is still a ways out. I know, shocking that it might be slipping even more. So it's still under development. Some stuff we're still working on, but it's a good point.
That was my question.
Okay.
Floors, and is it like 3 meters? I'm not sure what that is in freedom units, but yeah, I was wondering what's the height on the floor and what do you do if you do a basement?
Good question.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's one more. Then I got taking time from other people.
App-based provision tends to be problematic. Jailbroken phones and the like, especially if you're using your phone for GPS coordinates. How tied to that app-based provisioning for your AFC function are you? Because it feels like if you're going to require people to have an app on a device, that you should have an alternate option available for those people who have installers who don't have smartphones, or people who have jailbroken phones, or people who, compatibility issues and whatnot, right?
Can we talk about this later?
Absolutely.
Because I'm out of time. I'd love to keep talking, but thank you.
So I still had a question. So for the FCC's purposes, they're gonna, I mean, in a sense, this is almost a manual attestation, right? We're trusting the mobile device to be accurate.
Which is why no jailbroken.
Right, exactly. And for CBRS's approach, right, you have to get your CPI and do all that kind of stuff. So FCC cool with this? Or is this just a proposed workflow? Do they have to sign off on the workflow? I know
it's still under development.
Okay, because I know you guys have conditional
There-
approval from the FCC.
There are 13 companies, and this is one of the things we're working through.
Okay.
Yeah.